Hi, and welcome back to On Guard Cigar Salon. I'm Mr. Kristofer.
I'm Graylin Thornton.
I'm Bannon.
And I'm the Cigar Pig.
And today we are in Golden Gate Park at the AIDS Memorial Grove here in San Francisco. And we have come to an event that all four of us just have come to love. It is like a San Francisco tradition. It's called Flagging in the Park. And we wanted to talk to you today as they set up behind us. You'll probably hear music. A little bit about the history of Flagging in the Park and why it means so much to us.
Yeah, I've been coming to this event for many years. And one of the things I love about it is I think it's quintessential San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's a lot of queer. It's a lot of diversity. It's a lot of beautiful music, kind of tea dance music usually, kind of daytime, which I really like. And there's just a lot of fucking love. It's a really wonderful event.
Do you know what it feels like to me? And maybe because of my religious upbringing, but it feels like gay church. Yeah. Because everyone is just happy and joyful. It's like that soul music, that joyful music that makes us all happy.
For us.
Oh God, you don't want that.
I'm Amp.
Oh, also behind the camera. Because this is now a bit. Our producer is behind the camera. His name is
It's supposed to be fun.
Well, we're enjoying it.
But as the youngest, when was your first time coming to Flagging in the Park?
It probably would have been with you.
Yeah.
Probably like right after. Actually, we went to the beach once after a Kink.com shoot and then came here. It was really nice. About 6 years ago?
So what were your expectations when I said, we're going to Flagging in the Park? Did you know about it before?
My interpretation of flagging was actually, I went to a New York Pride once where they had the flaggers, like I forget what you would call it, but like, you know, Latrice Royale, who did flagging on RuPaul's Drag Race, like the big flags where they throw it up. And I was like, there's going to be a bunch of older people doing that. And then we got here and I was still impressed. It was very pretty. It was very beautiful, but it was
Yeah.
You'll see.
So, Amp, I'm curious. When you heard flagging, since in the leather and the kink community we say flagging for hankies and things, is that what you thought first, or?
Essentially, yes. But then he had explained, I think, no, they're like they're waving around flags, and I was like, what does that mean? Like, what are they flagging for then?
So, Graylin, what was your first experience with flagging?
Well, with flagging in general, I remember I was at a Lazy Bear, and this was 20-something years ago, and my company was hiring the dancers for the stage, and we had to make adjustments for the flaggers, and I didn't really understand that, but then once I saw it, it was some of the most beautiful things I had ever seen. And it's hard to explain to people who are not from here. You know, it's like, well, we do this thing, it's very San Francisco, and if you're not from San Francisco, you don't really understand what it means when we say it's very San Francisco. Yeah.
It is very San Francisco, but it happens all around the world. There are flaggers from everywhere, and you go to a whole conference in Hawaii.
Yeah, there's an event that happens every year in Hawaii, and we flag on the beach all day until sunset. It's beautiful.
And are most of the people that go to that from all over the country, or?
They're from all over the world.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And when's the first time you saw a flag?
I am a newbie to flagging, even though I've lived here 30 years, was when I came with you guys this year, the end of last year. Oh. And, you know, one of the other things when you're talking about the park, and Graylin, since you grew up here in San Francisco, you know, the park is known for these kind of community events, if people know it. I mean, the Grateful Dead used to come out here and play in the 60s, and Jefferson Airplane, Janis, they would just show up. And this park has always been known to start these kind of these community events. Like you say, it's just a lot of love. It's very San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the park for a second.
Yeah.
So we are in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, but we are in a very magical place called the AIDS Memorial Grove. What does this place mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's technically National AIDS Memorial Grove, if you look it up.
Yeah.
It is a place of honoring people who are impacted by HIV/AIDS. And it is a way of memorializing people. It's giving them a place to go and mourn and grieve and remember. There are names inscribed at one end of the grove that of people who have passed from AIDS. They do events here all the time. if you walk around, there are stones that have inscriptions. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have one, which is for all the sisters that have gone to that place. Sylvester has it.
Sylvester's honored.
It's a pretty magical place.
It is.
And it's astounding how often people come here, don't realize that it's here. And I will walk by and I will see somebody breaking down and crying on the side. And it's beautiful. It's because they remember somebody. And one time somebody walked in here and they did not know what this was. And a friend of theirs had died of AIDS and they just lost their stuff. And that's what it's for.
It is.
It's for remembering. But it's a joyful place. It's not about somber.
It is, but it's also a place that we can come. I've been to many memorials here.
Right.
It's a great place. A lot of people don't want to be buried in a church. They don't want to go the religious route. So it's kind of like, again, I'm going to go back. This is our church.
Yeah.
It is a sacred place we made. And because of that, we're not smoking in it today.
Yeah, we are
exactly.
not.
No cigars. On the way here, Graylin, who knows the park very well, took me through the back way and through trails that are actually part of the grove.
I bet
like
you
say.
did.
Exactly. Well, we're not going to go there.
What trails?
There's a lot of them, but that are very, solitude, and yet you'll see a bench, and then, like you say, you'll see a rock with somebody's name engraved on it. Absolutely gorgeous.
One thing I didn't mention is that for those that are used to seeing me sitting, I just had some surgery, so that's why I'm standing. I'm a little more comfortable standing. So if you're used to our normal seated configuration, that's why.
Plus, you're our height now, so it's perfect.
Oh, God.
But it is a really joyful place. We talk about memorializing people, but it's not the kind of place where you come and it's somber. It's the kind of place where you come and you just feel the spirit of San Francisco from the 60s. It just feels like the 60s to me, which is why I'm wearing all this stuff.
And you are embodying the
60s today. So it's Amp. Yes.
Got the rainbow vibes.
Yes.
What is your guys' excuse? You're somber.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, you are correct. There's a lot of joy here. One of the things I love about this place is that I'm going to go back to this. It sounds like I'm bragging about our city. It is so San Francisco
It is.
that we have a place in the middle of our city park that memorializes and celebrates the people who have passed from HIV/AIDS, and also their families and their friends that can have a place. And they let joyful things like flagging in the park happen here.
Right.
It's magic. It's a really magical place.
And later we're going to have Xavier come on, who's with Flagging in the Park, and explain to us a little bit of the history. But the last time I was here, I didn't know this part of the history. That when they first began, they didn't get a permit or anything. They just set it up and started doing it.
Very San Francisco.
They just do it and apologize later. And then it became this growth thing that now it's just known every single month that they do it, except the winter months.
They do it in the better weather months of San Francisco. Let's put it that way.
Like the summer.
Which is already
which is freezing.
It's like 63 degrees, but it's September, so what the hell?
Yeah, the coat.
That's the other thing, though, about flagging is it always starts out really cloudy and really chilly, and then it almost always burns off. But that's just because we're in a bay.
Right.
Yeah. And we're recording early before flagging starts. So as the day progresses, it gets warmer. The clouds hopefully go away. We have sun.
So the first time I ever saw flagging was actually in a club. It wasn't at an event like this, but it was somebody on stage doing it. And I was mesmerized by, I might have been on things, but I was mesmerized by the colors and stuff. And you know what I also admired about it is it replaced tambourines. People stopped tambourining about the same time flagging started happening in the clubs. But it did take up a lot of space, so they needed to be on a box or up higher than the rest of the crowd.
Some of the big dance parties and circuit parties, etc., actually set aside space or time. Like there's one event that says to all the flaggers, come an hour early before the rest of the crowd.
For flagging?
And they spin and do it then. Other events have cordoned off spaces. Some put you on a stage, some put you on boxes. So there's a way to flag and not hit people with the flags while you're dancing.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw it in a club was at the Trocadero, and I remember that people had their T-shirts and not really flags. And so I grew up as a young gay. I grew up thinking that was flagging. That,
Wait, they were flagging with their T-shirts?
Yeah,
That's
their
how it
t-shirts.
started.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Think of a bunch of leathermen and gay men in like Trocadero. No shirts on because we know how we are.
Right.
And so they were just flagging
They
their
were
T-shirts.
flagging with their T-shirts.
I didn't know that.
So since you mentioned the Trocadero, what year was that?
I'm more curious, how could you tell if it was somebody who was just holding onto their shirt versus flagging?
Oh, you could
that's
tell.
a good point. However,
Well, if they're doing this.
if you're gonna take your shirt off, you may as well do something with it.
Right.
Yeah, and they were having fun. Let's just put it that way.
So how many people here know actually how to flag? Because it is not an easy thing to pick up.
I can ish. So flag.
I'm a flag-ish as well.
Ish.
I have never even attempted it.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Well, we're gonna meet Xavier a little bit later, but he's so kind that he took me aside and to teach me how to flag, because I would always bring a paddle on a ball, which other people do other things, and that's really fun.
One of those ones with the rubber band?
We call it a rick rack, and I'm really good at that. And he kept saying, "Well, I want to see you flag," so he actually came over and taught me how to flag a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have to say, because I've been a spectator, obviously, all the times I've come, and the people are so good at it. But it looks like, it's not intimidating. People don't, they do that. They come up and help you versus say, oh, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
And one of the lovely things about the flagging community, and it really is a community, it bonds people in a certain way, is that they are very generous. They are very kind of loving. And if you pick up a flag and you have no idea what you're doing with it, you should never feel intimidated in any way. They want you to just play and have fun and dance and be joyful.
Right.
And so they don't care if somebody knows how to do it well or not. They really
You see
don't.
other things too, like there's people hula hooping, there's people blowing bubbles.
Oh, yeah, the
There's
bubbles. I love the bubble
with
people.
those strings, and it's people doing all kind of gymnastics. People just do all kind of things. It makes it really fun. And I don't want to say costumes, but the outfits that people wear. You see the younger people in like a G-string, and then you see the older people,
In a
fully
G-string.
Oh yeah.
There are always a few of those.
Yeah. There's always that one.
And somebody wearing tinfoil from head to toe.
Flagging is very big in San Francisco. We have a very, very big flagging community, but it is international.
Right.
There are people, we have friends in Australia that flag. We have friends in Europe that flag. It is really a truly international, I'm going to call it a queer art form.
It is.
I really think, I was going to say gay art form, but I'm going to say queer art form because it's everybody in our queer community does it, and allies. I'd say a good 10% of this crowd is going to be straight.
Yeah.
That's so.
And so I learned how to flag, and I'm not that great at it. I'm a flaggish like you, from a gorgeous man named Benedict in Australia who just handed me down these flags that he had made himself.
Wow.
And now they're like my most treasured possession. Yes. And everyone comes up to me and is like, is that Benedict's flag? And I'm like, how do you know?
Oh, that's interesting.
But it is. It's a community. Things are passed along. People love teaching. And there's just so much love and support.
Yeah.
Xavier gave me mine, and I'm so terrified of messing them up all the time. It's like I have to fold it carefully. I have to put it in a little plastic bag. I have to do all the things that don't get it wet. Just all these things.
Well, one of the things I like about here is they bring a whole blanket they set up over here, and they just put flags out that you can just borrow to learn.
That is
Children
so
and
nice.
dogs.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's one of the most charming things to watch a family walk through here. They've never seen this event, and someone like Xavier will walk up to the family, and there's little kids, and they said, "Do you want to try?" And they put flags in their hands, and they're throwing them around and having the best time.
Yeah.
It's just such a joyful
wonderful.
experience.
It is.
It really is. One of the things that I really love about the flagging community is that there is, much the way you just talked about Benedict giving you those flags, there is this tradition of passing down, much like in the leather and the kink community, we pass down leather. Yeah. They have a very similar kind of tradition. David Wickman was, who I'm sure you all know, was at Folsom Street Fair. And he got up on one of the boxes, and he had these leather pride flags. And he said, wait right there. And so he got up and he did his thing, and he was dancing to the music, and he jumped down and goes, these are now yours.
Oh, that's true.
And that's the kind of love and much like we do in the leather community of passing down leather.
Yeah, very good.
So what's the, the fanning and fans first or flagging first? When do you think, which started first, do you think?
I would think fans because
think?
they're more accessible. And then you had, the big queens in the houses and,
Clicking
and all
the
of that,
fans.
clicking a fan.
Yeah, that's true.
It's actually interesting, the similarities to leather. I often, when I'm trying to teach someone how to do it, especially if they're a dom, I'm like, it's like flogging. It's very much like flogging.
Right.
Prettier.
No, but the way you twist your wrist is very much like flogging.
And if you know how to do serpentine flogging, it's very, very similar to that. Yeah.
I practice, like I find these.
Where do you? In
I
your
practice
living room?
in my living room.
Really?
And
You have the
find,
space?
Will you stop it? I find these videos on YouTube and I put on my music and I watch the videos and I practice and I'm good. And I get here and I look at what everybody else is doing. It's like, well, I'm not doing what I was doing because they're doing this. Then I go out there and I try that. And it's like, well, I'm now confused because, what am I supposed to be doing? So it's all these other little things that you can do that just makes it special.
Does.
Yeah.
One of the things I would love to bring up is we are at Flagging in the Park, and it is a fundraising event. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they bring a DJ in every month. It's usually many, many different DJs. And with the exception of 1 month, the DJ usually gets to pick the nonprofit that the money they raise goes to, so it's a way of honoring the DJ. You tell us where you want the money to go. And then there is another organization right now called GRGRF who matches dollar for dollar up to $2,000 of that donated money. So it doubles.
That's
a
great.
lot. It's really amazing. And speaking of, we are at the National AIDS Memorial Grove, and this place runs on donations. So there will be a link in the description. And if anybody wants to give to a tremendous organization, they can always use money.
So Leather Daddy Skin Company is a plant-based skincare line with a kinky twist. Leather, scotch, vanilla, and 18 erotic spices are bound to get the blood flowing, getting you ready to dominate your day. If you use offer code ONGUARD, you'll get 10% off your order. So thank you very much, Leather Daddy Skin Co.
So welcome back. And I would like to introduce a really amazing gentleman, Xavier. Xavier is, and he's not going to like me to say this, he's kind of the king of flaggers in San Francisco, as far as I'm concerned. We kind of look to him as the person who is all things flagging, and he has a long affiliation with Flagging in the Park, which he will tell you about. So this is Xavier.
Thank you, Race. You can call me the San Francisco Flag Daddy if you like.
Flag Daddy.
King might be a little stretch.
I like that. Okay, Daddy.
The Flatty.
Can we still worship you?
No.
Did we just invent a new thing?
No, we did not.
The flaggy?
No.
Flatty.
No.
We are at Flagging in the Park, and it has a long history, but could you kind of go back a little bit and explain how flagging started and sort of its origins to the best of what we know?
So flagging has been around since biblical times with poles. But there was a lesbian at the turn of the century named Loie Fuller, who was the Madonna of her day. She was mass marketing herself, her image, her 100 yards of silk that she went to painstaking work to make glow in a dark room, especially at the Folies Bergère. If you ever looked at a Folies Bergère ad, a lot of them are a woman with her dress, and that would be Loie. She actually performed a few times in Golden Gate Park in the 1890s and 1900s, and has a connection with San Francisco. But yes, that put fabric movement on stage in a way that was new, and where have gays and lesbians lived but on the stage? We're used to putting on a mask, and so we've worked on stages for many, many years. And this was held in gay clubs, whether they be private ones, the black clubs, the underground. And in the 70s, when we stopped getting beaten up, we were still getting beaten up, but when there was less of it, we brought these out and we're taking them into clubs. And especially popular were leather clubs. So flagging, the roots of it lay with Loie, but fanning is also an art that's been held in the gay community. And in the small clubs, which all the clubs were, up until the 90s when we started doing these warehouse parties, there was no room to flag with the way that we would flag now. And so fan dancing was much more popular. And it was held because who has the balls to pull out fans and decorate them and spin them? But the leather queens that would be in the club, and they would use them to snare their men. They would also use them for favors. So if you wanted to come learn from me, I would say, okay, what can you do for me? You know, polish my boots, suck my dick, fuck me hard, whatever. And so the term fan daddy and flag daddy is a remnant of what we have in our current culture, where the flag daddy is the person that brings you in and teaches you the art.
Based on what he just said, I think we need to bring fanning back.
Absolutely.
I mean, like big time.
No.
This is not the.
Not the clacking.
That's not clacking.
I'm not big on the clacking, but fans, yes.
The kids are fanning.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've all heard of Studio 54. You might be
course.
surprised to know that was a fan club.
Was it really?
And the Saint was a flag club. It was a bigger space. Yeah.
When you say a fan club, you don't mean like we all love this one thing. It's a literal fan club.
There was a coven of fanners that owned that club. So if you were a fanner and you went into that club, you would be assaulted. Those things hurt. They would cut you with their sticks. I'm not saying necessarily Studio 54, but there was a group of people that fanned at a club. And if you were not nice to that group of people, they would cut you.
And I remember in Studio 54 seeing people fanning. So, I mean, I did see it. So it happened.
Studio 54 was probably open to, more people because it was, but these smaller clubs that would be considered regional leather clubs, they would get a little bit more vicious, or so I've been told.
So we have the fanning as sort of an origin story, but then now the silks are much more common for flagging. When was that migration from more fanning to using the silks?
So I do have a friend who fanned in 1978 on the Kristofer Street Parade in Los Angeles. So I know firsthand knowledge from a from a flagger that was here just a few months ago. Greg Evans, that flagging has been around and they coexisted, but again, you didn't have the space. So what ended up happening in the 90s, we started getting larger clubs. And about the time that the gay community stopped dying, we started these circuit parties, and the circuit parties became a place where we would come together, and these arts that had been lost, these, small clubs, people were coming to these larger venues, and things started getting shared more. Canada Scott Peel is a flagger fanner in the New York area, and the people would, as they were dying, were giving her their fans and their flags, saying, please keep this going. She is, I think most people can trace their lineage to Canada as being the person that really kept that alive in our community and brought it back out in the mid-90s when we stopped dying. We had something to celebrate in 96 when the first circuit party started, the Red Party, I think, in Columbus, and with Susan Morbido, and it just kept going. And fans are much more complicated to make, from start to finish. Their flags are so much easier. I can go to a store and buy some good fabric and put some weights in it and have them ready to go in an hour, whereas fans take a lot of time. So what ended up happening is we got in a much more fast-paced society, and consumption flags are just a lot easier. So there is a small comeback in flagging in the park of the fans, but I've always considered flaggers as the nerds in the corner, right? We want to put distance between us and other people, and these flags are something that gives us the ability to walk into a club and exist with others, and get attention in some way, and yet also isolate ourselves. So you have that going on in different ways. And so if people are drawn to you, I can give them a set of flags and let them continue their journey with this without much hassle. It's just much easier to do, and fanning took off. So flagging took off.
Xavier, you just said you could get a piece of fabric and put weights in it. Can you explain what the weights do in the flag?
That's the propulsion system, right? So you're throwing that weight.
Okay.
You're throwing the weight, and the weight then you can put crepe paper on a rock and put it on a string and spin it around. And so I think that was rhythmic dancing. It's a Olympic sport, right? So anything that you put weight on, you can use. Poi, actually, real poi is the rope on with coconuts, and when you start spinning that rope becomes almost like a staff. Because it's being pulled apart on either end by the centrifugal force and the weight that's on it. So,
one of the first times I saw flagging professionally or was at Lazy Bear when Lazy Bear was a baby, and I would see the flaggers on the stage. And, I love Boys Who Strip and all that sort of thing. But when you see the flaggers there, it just turns the party into a whole nother adventure, because we've all been on a dance floor where we really have nothing to do. But then when you have someone up there doing something like, I know, it gives you a purpose. It's like, okay, that is beautiful, and I can just stand here looking at that and be mesmerized.
Color, the movement. You'd be lost for hours in that.
I mean, flagging is also performance.
Yeah.
It's sort of individual and sometimes group performance. Do you see it that way?
So, yes, I definitely do. Just to answer you straight off, I also see it as an expression of the music. So when music is coming into me, I'm putting that into motion. And so when you see a flagger on a stage or even on the ground someplace, they are putting that music into motion, which gives you the invitation to join them, to dance, to be part and take part in that energy. And that, the shamans they're working their magic, you feel that you can go and work your magic too.
Our audience might be inspired and want to get some flags and play with them and try to do it. Where would someone get flags if one of our audience members wanted to try it?
So Etsy is one place. I personally will recommend people that donate to Flagging in the Park, the flag makers, because I know their work. I know that they're going to deliver, and I know the flags that they are making are a certain quality. There are a lot of people that make flags these days, but the quality differs. I think their Don't Panic sold flags for a while, and they fell apart pretty quickly. So not to say that flags aren't consumptive. The silks on them do have a lifespan, and people hold them wrong and put their fingers through them and different things like that. That I can't work with, but how they're made, I will vouch for the people that donate to Flagging in the Park. And if somebody would like to contact me or contact Flagging in the Park, I'd be happy to share that list.
So actually, let's start at the beginning. How did Flagging in the Park come about? Can you give us a little of the history?
Do you want the dirty story, or
the dirty story?
You're
on the right show.
This is the
story. Yeah.
So I won't name any names, but one of the producers behind me that's helping set up was doing a party in a basement that may or may not have turned into sex parties at some point, but he had bought a sound system and was learning to DJ, and so he was DJing these parties down in the basement, and they were flagging and fucking, and it was some of you might have joined that at some point because it stopped in like 2005-ish, but and he got the idea of doing this outdoors. The National AIDS Memorial Grove in 1996 was christened the National AIDS Memorial Grove, and it got on the radar of somebody who lived not far from here. And the next year, in 1997, I want to say February of 1997, a group of about 40 men, there might have been a woman or two, but it was the sex party, so I don't think that there were very many women that were attending that, were gathered here, and they flagged, and they stopped in the middle of it, and they talked about how AIDS had affected their lives. Again, this is 1996, so we're now getting into that celebration mode. I don't know that that's called that, but the cocktails came out in 94 and 95. People stopped dying. In 96, we're looking at a different community than we were from the 80s and early 90s. So, and that was the first Flagging in the Park.
And by cocktails, you mean the medication cocktails that people take to be undetectable?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just explaining for a younger generation that might not know what that means.
So that was the origin, but it has grown and it has become this, I call it the most quintessential San Francisco thing I do is flagging in the park. So how did it sort of mature into what it is today?
Well, I moved up here in 1998 after attending my first flagging in the park. It was held in a small area that's behind us, much smaller area because there are maybe 20, 25 people there. And yeah, it's definitely grown. So I co-produced for many years with my partner, and in 2003, partners had broken up. I know I had broken up with my partner, and the community kind of scattered, and I was working with something, this may be way down the rabbit hole, but have you heard of the Men's Inner Journey? Mm-hmm. I became a facilitator for the Men's Inner Journey. And in 2004, I realized that I could not continue to do this and have my life. It's just, there's a lot that you have to give up. The trappings in our pockets, the phones, and the connection to really focus and be present with people. It's very difficult. So I stepped back from that and I decided that flagging is, for me, also a meditation. I didn't go into that, but if I put something in your hands and you start moving it, you're not thinking about the next dick you want to suck or the next meal or paying rent. You're in the moment with those flags. So I consider this a meditation, and meditation is definitely something in the early 2000s, 1990s that we needed. We needed that time with ourselves to process. And I thought, this is what I want to bring to my community. I'm going to commit to flagging in the park. And in 2005, I started producing flagging in the park with a mission. So before then, flagging in the park was just a bunch of people that were coming together and playing. We were not passing a hat. We were just coming down here, showing up whenever we wanted to, which meant we had better weather. But yeah. And then in 2005, I started getting permits, sound permits, talking with the Grove, building its relationship, and we started passing a hat. We're probably going to get up to about $400,000 at the end of this year that we've raised and given to the community. If not 400, it's going to be close, maybe like 380 at least, 390. So, but yeah, so passing a hat kind of gave us a new mission. So instead of coming down here and being party boys, we were coming down here and actually doing something for good. And then with the onset of Facebook and the pictures of the people that were coming down here, we blew up. It totally expanded within.
So social media changed that.
Social media and the purpose, having a purpose. Yeah. Social media was a big part.
Sorry, you just hinted on trappings a little bit and being present. I know as leather people, we have all kinds of trappings, all kinds of rules and that sort of thing. And I always think of this as we can let all of that go. We don't have to be staunchy leather people anymore. We can just come out here and wear bright colors and costumes and blow bubbles and do all these things that make us San Francisco and forget all that other stuff. And I just love that.
The flaggers are in a place of meditation, so they're being present. And being present is a present. You're being present for others allows you to shed the expectations that you think that we self-impose. Mm-hmm. So you have all these flaggers that are being present with themselves with the flags, and that gives permission for others that are watching to be present and that are circulating with them to be present. And it's really a different energy. I mean, I see people on their phones. I'm carrying a phone to take pictures, but it is definitely an opportunity for people to set their phones down and to be present with a group of people. I mean, yeah, it's just all around an amazing event.
What's your favorite part of the event?
I just got distracted by the smudge pot going by.
I know.
This is happening right over here. Are they,
Well, explain what they're doing.
What are they doing? Sage. Because I'm from Wyoming, so that smell gets me every time. I'm like,
I love it.
So, yes, coming with intention is all, well, maybe I worded that correctly or incorrectly, I'm not sure. Coming into the Grove and setting the intention for the Grove is a big part of who we are, right? We are coming into a space. This space is amazing. If you haven't panned around, it is just the most beautiful place in San Francisco. It's often referred to as the heart of San Francisco. And so to come in here and ask permission to be here and to set the intention of what we are trying to do is very important to us. And we've been doing that as long as I've been coming here.
I love it. I'm just curious, Pig, what is you've been to a few flagging in the parks. What's your favorite part of it?
The people. It's like you say, it really is. It's the people. And you can see that it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. I've never done it, but it's just the joy. And like you say, the intention of being together, being community. And I love that. There's like a real sense when you're here, a feeling once it gets started, that's just great. And it's contagious.
So you said you've never done it. Are you looking forward to learning today?
Well, I am. I don't know if you're on camera, but yeah, sure, I will. No, I wanted to ask. So they're really made out of silk, and then they're like drapery weights, right?
Yes.
Okay, there it is.
Lead weights.
Lead weights.
Yeah.
No.
When did they figure that part out? So we were just discussing earlier how the early started with just flagging with T-shirts. when did it become silks and a whole art form?
So the flagging with T-shirts is a good myth. I'm not saying it's a myth. People did flag with T-shirts.
I did that. Yeah.
Again, flagging is biblical. It's 2,000 years old.
This might be before your time.
Fan dancing is 3,000 years old. So dancing with the fans, and actually some martial artists would dance with fans, and they would have spikes or very sharp knives on them. So it's very much going back to the meditation and the dropping in and being present, because you don't want to cut yourself with that, right? So yeah, this has been around for a long time. So when they made the jump from the post to a weight has probably been lost to the AIDS epidemic.
Interesting.
I just wanted to say something about bringing people together, because there's a friend here who I've known. We did children's theater together when we were 18, and he comes to flagging. This is where we meet every year, and every time we see each other, it's all the joy, and we say the same things like, you haven't changed a bit. Well, I mean, we were 18 and I'm 64 now, so we've changed a little bit, but it's just so fun to see someone that you've known since you were 18 every month when this happens. And that's the only time we see each other. Yeah. And it's magical every single time.
One thing I want to mention, I think I mentioned it earlier. I have seen a family walk through here, sometimes with children, and you will walk up to them and you will explain what's going on. And then often you will turn to the kid and say, do you want to try? I've seen you do this. And the joy in that child's face when they are throwing those flags around is amazing. What's that like for you? And that's community building. That's showing we all get along. That's showing, I don't know. It's just a wonderful thing. What is that like for you?
Everybody has the first time. Everybody has the first time. And kids are not shy, not to say that you'll be shy, but kids jump right in, and it's fun because they feel that they're part of everybody else.
Yeah.
Again, they lose themselves and become part of the greater group, and then they come back into themselves and see, I'm doing this, and they just squeal like kids.
Because they're young enough not to have the baggage that we have as adults that don't want to look foolish, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I defy anyone to watch one of these young kids throwing the flags around in total joy and not feel the joy. It is just an amazingly beautiful thing. So,
well, it's funny that you said, not feeling silly or being intimidated, because it can be intimidating. And I know that when I get out here and I start looking at other people, it's like I can practice and practice. I look at other people, it's like, well, I want to do what they're doing. Then I forget what I'm doing. And then I get embarrassed. And then I remember, okay, girl, nobody's paying attention to you over here. So you can just flag any way you want. They don't care.
Well, that's one of the things I really do like about this is there really is no judgment.
Yeah.
So like when I first started doing it,
we judged you, though.
we're always judging Kristofer.
I was like,
Xavier never judged me, and that's all I care about.
Okay. What is your favorite part of flagging in the park? What's the one thing that brings you the most joy?
The whole event and the community coming together, for me, is the reason that I'm here. So I feel that the community we lose opportunities like this. Everybody's online, at home, hooking up on Grindr, and coming together as a community is not something we do enough. Right. So my biggest joy is that. And then, of course, there's the flagging and the music. And, when some oldies come on, I just lose my shit and, decide I stop doing whatever I'm doing and go out and flag. I would like to mention to one other thing while I've got it in my mind. So I'm a guy here in San Francisco, and so I've been leading this for a long time, and so the community leans on the male side. There are more men in this community. I mentioned Canada, Scott Peel in New York. She was a woman. The New York community has a lot more women. This art has been held in both by the gays and the lesbians, and it's spread onto straight church church-going groups. It's not specifically being held in the gay community at this point. But there was a time when it was mostly, especially with the fans, being held by the gay men, gay male community.
Yeah, and even here, when we see flagging in the park, it's many gay men, but there's a lot of lesbians, a lot of queer, a lot of allies.
Straight men.
I know on Mother's Day, people bring their mothers. I love that. So, I mean, it's a pretty diverse place now.
No, one of the things that we haven't really talked about was the quilt. And there are times when the quilt is here, and that's one of the most beautiful times because
you're talking AIDS Memorial
the
quilt.
AIDS Memorial quilt, yeah. And they display it here, and that just makes the whole thing a lot more magical because then you start remembering people and imagining them here. Yeah.
We are in the National AIDS Memorial Grove. So for those of you that are coming to San Francisco, it's not your duty, but I invite you to come down here and see something that was forged from the travesty that beheld our community. And it is simply gorgeous. And the National AIDS Memorial took over the stewardship of the quilt a few years back. And that's housed in Oakland, just across the bay. And especially when the National AIDS Memorial is our beneficiary, they will bring quilt pieces, but sometimes they just bring them just for fun or people request it. So if you're coming to a flagging in the park and you know somebody whose name is on a quilt panel, you can request that they bring that and hang it.
I did not know that.
And if anybody wants to contribute to the beauty of this space, every third Saturday at 8:30 in the morning
in San Francisco,
people come and they help maintain this space. The volunteers actually keep this place beautiful and of use to the entire city through their volunteer efforts. So it's every third Saturday at 8:30 in the morning.
So Xavier, thank you for telling us a little bit about the history, and I think we're ready to learn how to flag. Are you ready to teach?
I'm always ready to teach.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me.
Let's do it.
Woo-hoo. So for our flags, most flags are about 36 inches by 45 inches off the spool, off the bolt. They're 45 inches long. So there are weights in one corner. There's a short side and a long side, and you want to hold it on the long side and throw the weighted corner. That becomes your weight that pulls the rest of the flag around. So you're going to hold them right there.
Going to be killed.
I usually tell people to hold them about a forearm's length from the corner. So there's the corner, and there's your forearm's length. So there's no other intention, no measurement there that you can get, just that measurement. That's a good place. And the reason for that is because it's that far from your face. Oh. People sometimes can hit themselves. You have glasses on, so they might go flying, just to be forewarned. So whenever I work with somebody, I ask I teach by touch. If my touch ever bothers you, please let me know and I'll figure out a different way to teach you.
Trust me, it will be fine.
Okay, I'm going to put this down.
Okay.
The only other thing that I'll say while I'm still with the microphone is to relax. Okay. Don't straighten your arms. You want to have them bent, and I'll guide you through your first few moves.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go.
You got this, Pig.
You did it.
How's he doing, Xavier?
First timer.
Go.
Yo, you're doing great, Pig. You're doing great. You're doing great.
I would call it a figure eight.
Figure eight.
You're drawing eights. So put your hands together. So you've already come down from the, no, you're good. You're good. Put your hands together. Right. And then do both of them. So like this. Right. So as you do that, you're going to slowly allow another hand to go, one of your hands to become the lead. So whether you're a right hand lead or a left hand lead, and one is going to follow. That looks like, yeah. So here I'm putting the microphone down again.
I love the fact that Xavier teaches by touch. Actually, I have been in one of the classes that Xavier has taught, and this way of teaching actually works extremely well.
I'm doing 2 at once.
You are. I'm impressed. Pig, that's
good,
great.
Pig.
That is really good.
Nice.
And for everyone watching, he really is a complete, total beginner. He has never.
I don't think anyone doubts that. But you're doing really good.
It's that encouragement.
Well, and you do have one of the best teachers in the world. So
not everybody picks the flags up and goes right to it. Some people do have that luxury, and we just slap them across the face. But then most people have to work at it. So you, like me, are going to have to work at it a little bit, which is to be expected, right? I mean, we most things we need a little instruction, and this is where the daddy comes in now. So
yeah.
How much do you want to learn?
Well, the great thing is we have all afternoon to practice and try. Thank you, Xavier, for teaching us and being very patient. I kind of did want to see you slap him, though. So it's very BDSM element to flagging. I wanted to see that. If you guys enjoyed this show, please leave a like down below and please subscribe to the channel. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Leather Daddy Skin Co. and Mr. S Leather, for making these possible. So let's just enjoy ourselves. No more judgment, and we can't wait to see you get very, very good at this in one day.
There was no judgment. I do have to
No
say
judgment.
that. No judgment.
Yeah.
Out loud.
And with that, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Welcome to the Flagging in the Park vlog episode video all about flagging.
Looking around, I feel so blessed to look out of the grove and see the many friends that I've made since coming to Flagging in the Park, first as a participant, then as a producer, first starting in 2007. One of the best things about the event is the many friendships that started right here. And we shared so many good times together. And I also know that I can depend on my friends' support to make it through some of the darkest times in my life. So, for example, just this week, Xavier called me because he knew that my father had fallen recently, and he just called to check up on me. And just after the phone call, I just felt this renewed sense of hope and purpose, something that I didn't have before he called me. The point is, everyone needs someone to talk to when they're going through a rough patch. We all need someone that understands us and gives us space to let our feelings out. With the recent events, and the pace of modern society, we need each other more than ever. Mental health is so important. With the LGBTQIA+ population, the need is even greater.
You undress, I miss your head on my chest. Can't stop this bleeding, can't stop you leaving. I'm missing the sound of your heart beating. Baby, I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm missing the sound of your heart beating. Baby, you're mine to lose. Oh, I'm missing the sound of your heart beating. It's in the sound of your